Hi everyone and welcome to another Dead Rising video on the channel. As I've mentioned, I'm going to be covering the original and the remaster in a load of different ways over the next month because I've seen quite a lot of controversy and fan reaction and issues going on, so it's time we talk about DRDR or Dr. Doctor or Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, whatever you want to call it, because frankly, pun intended, it's quite a mess. Now, I don't personally think that the game is an actual mess, I just mean the situation surrounding it. As I've done with these kind of videos in the past, we talk about fan reactions, issues, controversies, differences with these remakes and remasters of games that are coming thick and fast in this generation. Now, I'm a massive fan of the original Dead Rising and I've been covering it on the channel, so if you want to see more, definitely subscribe, all that good stuff. But today's video, a lot of main points I want to just quickly go over that keep popping up on the Reddit, on YouTube videos, in previews. One thing, erotic removal. The Erotica camera reward, PP, whatever you want to call it. That is now gone. Now, there's probably a lot of reasons for this internally, maybe some politically or more modern, whatever. I just want to state personally, I'm not bothered about this. You can still take those pictures if you want, you just won't get rewards. But I can also understand the side of censorship to a degree, but I think it's more so that the developers have got their own vision and they find it cringy or pervy, and they just want to move away from that. Now, on its own, I don't see that as a big issue. But there is other changes as well. There's changing of dialogue lines. There's some of Kent's and some of Cliff's. I've noticed in the trailers that have changed now. We know we've got new voice actors, so they want new voice actors so they can redo lines or have new lines entirely. Completely fine. This is a remaster, remake, whatever you want to call it. But some of these characters are very much linked to what they say and how they react. So again, I can understand fans' reactions to certain things. I think it's Cliff's line refers from communist now to animal. So things like that are changing and shifting. But I think a lot of fans are also overreacting to this. We've got to see the full picture when the game comes out. And Kent is also talking about outtakes and funny shots rather than pervy erotica shots because of the erotica removal. We also have things where the VAs are obviously changing, so we don't have, we don't have the original actors essentially. Some of them are very, very good. I actually like Frank's new voice actor, and Isabel's and Carlito's, but I don't quite like Brad's, and I've not heard enough of everyone else to really gauge and have a judgment on, but these are just what I'm seeing from an outsider's perspective. Now, another change I've seen, which is one I totally actually agree with that others have kicked up a stink about, and yeah, there is always those kind of fans, shall we say, is Larry. Now, Larry in the original game was portrayed quite in a racist manner, very stereotypical, that kind of archetype, and it wasn't good. He was portrayed as a yellow-skinned fat guy, and there was a lot of animosity between, Asian countries, China, Japan, everything like that, and that culture kind of spread into games, and I don't think Capcom want to reflect that without the animosity these days. They don't want to have any political issues with the game as such, so they've dialed that back. They have made Larry look more like an Asian American, a buff dude. He's probably still going to have a lot of the characteristics and voice lines, but he doesn't look like some kind of jokey stereotype, which I do agree with, because the original was quite like the Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb level of insulting Asian characters, in my opinion. Now, one thing I really don't agree with, and I'm not sure if this is in the full game, but we have the yellow paint coming back. Now, this yellow paint symbolises where to go, where, sticks things out in the environments of various games, Resident Evil, Horizon, you name it, it's been in there, Tomb Raider. Now, I personally think this implementation was just for the preview event because it's a short snippet of the game, and a lot of people who got the preview copy weren't actually fans of the original or hadn't played, so they may have not known what to do, where to go. So potentially like a temporary little hint just for, shall we say, people who are not familiar with the game, or maybe journalism brain. But in the full game, I would be shocked if this is still here, but the fan reaction has been quite hilarious, and some people have obviously taken it too far. So I don't want to be overly negative, that's just a few things I've noticed that I think are the biggest issues. Remember, it's just for the first boss fight, so does it matter? It doesn't really matter, as long as it doesn't take away from the exploration. If it's littered everywhere telling you where survivors are, that's gonna take a lot of the difficulty away. But overall, I'm very excited for this remaster. It is one of my favourite games ever. Even if it's not done as well as the original, it's modernised in so many other ways it'll balance out. But there's also a lot of new things. The survivors seem to have an affinity system as well, which means you can give them their favourite foods or weapons and sort of level them up as you go. I'm not sure if you have to keep them with you for the entire game or you can take them in and out of the security room. That would be amazing, having like a trail of survivor buddies and maybe even implementing some kind of online co-op in that regard. We never know. But I love that addition. It adds more to the survivors and their characters and their kind of in-law. So that is a really positive change. And so is the addition of adding weapon durability to the inventory system. You can actually see how long that weapon is going to last, whether it's with a book or without a book. And there's even new books for guns and other objects in the game, and camera parts you can pick up to make your actual photography better and take in-game photo mode shots. Like, they've really thought of how to expand the systems that are already there. It's not all controversy, it's not all bad, it's not all opinion based, there's a lot of good stuff here. I mean, even the locations of Willamette, the mall itself, has been improved. I mean, the first starting area, it's very tropical, there's new statues, everything has more detail to it. Outside the mirrors, because they seem to have removed mirrors, I'm not sure why, if that's a technical thing or whatever, but that is a removal. But everywhere else has been like kind of amped up. There's more lushness in the open garden area in the centre of the park bit. Each location seems to have just more details and more nuance to it, which is great. And obviously the graphics and the lighting and the time of day influences everything, which is, I just love the look of it so far. It's just really good. And one final change I did see was moving and shooting, something that would get you killed back in the day. Having to stand still, shoot while zombies are coming up behind you is really annoying, so that third person slow movement as you shoot backing away, that's going to be really handy. And I know that kind of added to the difficulty back in the day, but it was more so because of annoyance and lack of functionality more than, I guess direction and design. There's the ability as well to fast forward time, there's the auto saves, new controls, toggleable settings for like music for streamers, and there's so much going here that's not focused on those first negative things. I just wanted to get them out of there because it's annoying seeing certain fans overreact to the smallest thing. If you've got genuine complaints, voice them definitely, but I have the right to also say if you're taking it too far, and others do as well, you're being a bit silly here. There is mild levels of censorship, I will agree, but I don't think it's censoring or removing the important parts of the game here. We're not losing segments of the story. We're not losing characters. There's just the necessary changes Capcom are dealing necessary in 2024 for better or for worse, whatever political side you're on. It's just there. This is a game after all. They really don't need any kind of clip montage of their new game where people are taking erotic photos, constantly uploading highlight reels all over TikTok, and everyone just sees that of the game and thinks it's some kind of pervy game. They don't need that kind of attention. Let's focus on smashing zombies' heads in and spreading the gore, because it's a horror slapstick game, as I've said. It's just there for fun, not to be a perv. As for the yellow paint, like I said, I can take it or leave it. If it's there, as long as there's a way to remove it. Everything else I can pretty much take or leave. There's nothing really that's stuck out to me as making Dead Rising's Deluxe Remaster bad, apart from the lead VA, but I'm hoping the new lead VA is really good and he's willing to do more and more games, and maybe that's what we're building on here. The second one, the third one remastered, and then just retcon the fourth one and make a new one.
Come on, I'm the reason you just got hurt. Let me help.
No, I can't let a civilian do that. That's against regulations.
Yeah, well, I don't think they had zombie-infested malls in mind when they wrote those regulations, kid.
You know how to use this?
Kinda. I've covered wars,
But yeah, that's everything I wanted to talk about today in Dead Rising's Deluxe Remaster. It's just a little let's talk, a little ramble, a little unscripted rant, shall we say. I've done it a few times with Metal Gear and Silent Hill now, so I hope you enjoyed. If you got anything you're concerned about, or if you're, enjoying and you're looking forward to, share it in the comments down below. We also have memberships active on the channel now, so if you want to support the channel in another way other than a subscription or liking, go ahead. It's much appreciated, but don't feel you need to. And yeah, there'll be more Dead Rising content in the future. I hope you enjoy the game when it comes out, and I'll be streaming it as soon as it comes out, so I'll see you then, guys. Bye bye.